Yes, a beautiful morning to you wherever you are listening to your number one Smash station, Smash 88.1 FM, reaching you live from our studio at Okete Midiri of Abiola Way in the city of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, southwest Nigeria. We do this Mondays to Friday from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. 30 solid minutes of the very best and the latest in the world of sports. And today is not going to be different. There's so many things, as always, like I always say on the program, to talk about. We are going to be talking about the tennis on the table, the tennis on the lawn, and of course a whole lot of football stories. We're going to be talking about one of the legends of tennis game in Nigeria, talking about the game of table tennis. He's talking this morning. What is he talking about? These and many more will be coming your way on the program, and of course, talking about the tennis on the lawn, and the Murray is doing so well for himself. And of course, after returning from injury, this we're going to be talking about two on the program, and not so good news as regards Victor Osimhen, the best African footballer of the year, the reigning African footballer of the year, and of course the best number 8 in terms of ranking, talking about the best players in the world, is actually the 8th best player in the world, but not the best of story coming his way this morning and coming the way of Nigerian football. And from that not so cheering news, we'll go to a cheering news, talking about what Victor Boniface have been able to achieve for himself in the German Bundesliga. And of course, we'll also talk about Juventus playing against Atlanta yesterday. It wasn't a good result for our own Ademola Lookman, but there'll always be another time. This we'll be talking about the Italian Cup. We saw the final between Juventus and Atlanta, but not so good a result for Atlanta. Yes, still talking about European football. Last night we saw two games in the English Premier League, and of course the result of those games we're going to be talking about it on the program this morning, and what UEFA is telling the Manchester City owner as regards their stake in Girona and the UEFA Champions League. We'll also be talking about that this morning. And this morning I'm not alone in the studio. I've got my brother, my colleague, and of course one of the best sport journalists that are gradually taking the landscape by storm in Ogun State now. They are the next generation, and of course, I'm so happy that we have a whole lot of them doing it with much respect to him. Welcome to the program this morning. One of my regular guests. If you've been hearing his voice from time to time, even though not all the time, but from time to time you've been hearing his voice on the program, different programs, Smash Sport, Smash Stadium. He's been part of the program. Talking about no other person you've seen in the studio already, in case you've already joined us on our Facebook page to watch us live. His name is David Omoyele. David, welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you very much, Sanusi. And if I may, Sanusi Latif loves to complete the full name. And thank you very much for the compliments. It's overwhelming. I'm very glad. I'm very happy and I'm very honored. Let me put it that way. That's the word. I'm very honored for the compliments. Thank you very much. And thanks to our listeners always for always staying tuned to Smash Sports, and God bless you all.
Yeah, you're welcome. You actually deserved it. I'm not trying to flatter you. I'm just saying the obvious. And of course, those that have been following you, they actually know what you have up your sleeves. Yes, getting the program started. Don't forget that you can also be part of it by dialing the studio line 09048-881-881. That is the number for you to call to be part of the program this morning. As always, 09048-881-881. That is the studio line. And of course, you can also go to our Facebook page. Just type Smash 88.1 FM. You get to see us live in the studio. You can also drop your comment on the Facebook page. So starting off with the game of tennis, national table tennis coach Segun Toriola has set the target of discovering more players as a way of giving back to the country. Toriola took over from national coach Nasiru Sule and has been in charge of the countries and currently at the 2024 ITTF Africa Cup in Kigali, Rwanda, which Haruna Kodri actually won the final. I spoke about what Haruna Kodri achieved as regards the ITTF Championship Africa Cup that was played in Kigali. I spoke about what Haruna Kodri achieved on Smart Sports yesterday. I'm talking about what he achieved in case you didn't listen yesterday, and as a kind of reminder to those of you that actually listened yesterday, Haruna Kodri won the Africa Cup, the ITTF Africa Cup in Kigali. And of course, he did it in grand style because he won all the sets. He won 4-0 in that particular final. And the great thing is that he didn't give up on his dream. The last time he won it was 7 years ago. That was 2017. And of course, he's been in the final since then. 2018, he lost to Omar Assa. 2019, he lost to the same person. 2020, lost to another Egyptian. 2021, lost to Omar Assa. 2022, lost to Omar Assa. And this time around, after the 7th attempt, or after the 6th attempt, following the last time he won it, he's been able to reclaim that title after 7 years. So, that is the competition I'm talking about, that Segun Toriola, obviously, as the national team coach, is at that particular competition. And he's saying that he has set his target to actually discover more talent and more players for Nigeria as a way of giving back to the country. If you're talking about Segun Toriola, he's one of the best table tennis players that have actually come out of Nigeria, and of course, by extension, the continent of Africa. Remember the last Olympics that he went to, he was even honored by the International Olympic Committee. So that tells you what he has been able to achieve. Why few players like Toriola himself and the new African champion Haruna Kodri have enjoyed a relative success. Many other players are yet to come closer to them, with the 7-time Olympian, that is talking about Toriola, now looking to explore ways to develop more champions from Nigeria. But we've seen a number of them trying to come up this time around. But we need more of them, and that is what Segun Toriola is talking about. David, looking at discovering more talent for us, Haruna Kodri has been there for so long, and whether you like it or not, he's going to throw in the towel one day. Yeah. And of course, even though we have the likes of Mark Anjuola, some other guys coming up, Omotayo coming up, but we still need much more talent.
I remember the last time I was there, we were talking about tennis, and then we talked about these two Nigerians who actually did themselves proud. And then I mentioned that if you talk about tennis in Nigeria, for an average Nigerian right now, the first name that comes to mind is Haruna Kodri, which is very great that we have somebody we can call up to. But the other side of the coin is that that's the only name that rings. Unlike maybe in football, when you talk about football in Nigeria, you can mention Samson Siasia, Stephen Keshi, JJ Okocha, Kanu Wako, many names like that, icons like that we can actually call. But when it comes to tennis and some other sports like that, apart from the sports we are just coming up in, I mean sports that have been around for long, so it's a thing of encouragement that we are seeing the coach trying to scout for more talent. And actually, you can find talents everywhere if we are diligent enough. Of course, just like football, tennis is one of the street games we play. I mean, regularly you just see kids around
putting a table.
Sometimes not even a table. You just find a pavement, and then that is enough for them to no matter how small, no matter how large, however it is, then you see them. And that shows we have the talent and we have the potentials. It's just about refining them and putting them the right way, guiding them. So, and the government and the sport body in Nigeria, the Minister for Youth and Sport Development in Nigeria, and everybody involved in this matter, we all have a role to play. We all have a role to play, doing due diligence, looking for the scout in scouting out the talented ones who can actually take over from where Haruna Kodri stopped. And then again, just like Haruna Kodri, we can't give up easily. Just because you mentioned like it was in 2017 he won,
and he's been in the final since that time.
He's only been
losing the final. He lost 5 finals.
Losing the final is enough to discourage you.
But on the other side, it's also enough to encourage you. But losing straight back-to-back finals to the same country, in quotes, I put it that way, to the same country, more or less the same opponent.
4 times to the same opponent, and once to another person.
So more or less the same opponent. So, but never giving up. And I think that should show the kind of resilient spirit I want to see in the governing bodies, in the coaches, in scouting other people to replace him. And I think in getting them, Aaron Okodiri too will play a huge part, because it can actually help them identify talents. It can offer in the space of coaching. I look at China and I see what they do in their tennis. Most of their former tennis players are the ones responsible for looking for their for looking for the young generations and then grooming them.
I think majorly the problem we have in Nigeria is a generational gap in terms of tennis players, because unlike football that you mentioned, from one generation to the other, even though we refer to some generations as golden generation. For me, personally, I look at my favorite team. When you talk about the Super Eagles, it's always the 94 squad. Looking at what they've achieved, what they were able to achieve, the club side they were playing for, there are so many things to talk about the 94 squad, and that, like I was telling someone, that also tells you why that their names are still ringing bell today, till date, and that is why you have five of them now that have coached the Super Eagles of Nigeria. One have just been appointed on field, and of course, even though they have a different level of success, and you also have the 1980 squad, you understand. So I bet where I'm going is that even at
it has been perpetual.
Even at that, you still see different generations coming. From 94, you can still talk about the 96, 98 squad. You can still talk about the 2013 squad. You can still talk about different.
Even the 2010 squad.
You understand? You can still talk about different. At least if you cannot talk about the whole team, you talk about
it has been progressive.
Yes, you talk about progressive, debatable. But what I'm trying to say is that from year in year out, you still see great talents coming up in football. But in table tennis, there has been this wide gap.
It has always been narrow.
We had the likes of Segun Toriola, Bode Abiodun, Funke Oshonaike, Atoda Musa. These are names that we've had in the past, but having great Bose Kafo, Kennedy Okenla, we've had so many great names, but there is this gap coming up now, and that is what I think Segun Toriola is trying to fix,
bridge,
so that it won't be a longer time for you to have another name coming up at the worst stage.
By now, we should have been having people who, in quotes, have been feeling and have been knowing the what's it called, the pain of failure, to be able to move on. I mean, not those who are new to the whole experience. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So
that we won't spend much more time on table tennis. Let's take this commercial break. When we return, we start off with lawn tennis. Then we move into football and talk about the games that we saw last night. Stick around, Smash Sports on Smash 88.1 FM. You can also be part of it at 09048881881. That is the number for you to call to be part of the program. But that will be after this commercial break. Stick around.
You're listening to Smash Sports on Smash FM.
Offering a mind-blowing hyper bonus. Get ready for a gaming experience like no other. Place an accumulator bet and watch your winnings soar with our 1000% bonus. That's right, 1000%. So what are you waiting for? Visit onexbet.ng today. Use promo code HYPERNIGERIA to get a 300% bonus up to 189,218 naira and take advantage of the hyper bonus from OneXBet.
Just like every Nigerian mom, I need every kobo to work harder when times are tough. And I know So Clean is on my side. With the new Snow Powder Tech, the detergent powder becomes even finer. So it dissolves easily, foams faster, and cleans better. Every grain works and nothing is wasted. New So Clean detergent with Snow Powder Tech. Every grain works for you.
Hey folks, ready to take your smartphone experience to the next level? Introducing the Techno Camon 30 and Polar 6 series. Two amazing smartphones that redefine innovation. With the Techno Camon 30, capture every moment in stunning detail with its advanced Sony sensor camera. Say goodbye to blurry photos and hello to crystal clear images. And for all the gamers, engage yourself in an immersive gaming experience with the Techno Polar 6 series, featuring super sensory gaming technology and a 70 120 watts ultra charge. Every game comes to life, and you get to play for much longer. Visit an authorized Techno store to get any Techno Camon 30 or Techno Pova 6 series today and experience innovation right in your hands. Techno, stop at nothing.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Smash Sports on Smash FM. Smash FM.
No worry. Yes, it's still Smash Sport on Smash 88.1 FM, and of course we're still coasting home gradually. And of course, I did tell you that when we return, you can still be part of it by dialing the studio line 090-48-881-881. That is the number for you to call to be part of the program this morning. And of course, you can also be part of it on our Facebook page by typing Smash 88.1 FM and dropping your comments on the Facebook page. Okay, let's start from Europe. Because I know you have a lot of things to say about that, David, before we go back to tennis. Okay, after Europe, we'll take some other football stories. Then we'll now go back to tennis. Last night, we saw Manchester United against Newcastle United. It wasn't for me, it wasn't an easy win for Manchester United. But at the end of the day, they won the game 3-2. Thanks to Odlund, who actually made it sure that they had the third goal. And of course, they were able to run away with a 3-2 win.
Yeah, it's never easy playing against Newcastle, whether home or away, for any team actually. So kudos to Manchester United. I'm not the person to actually give them a lot of credit, but I will give them for that yesterday's game, because obviously Newcastle are a team that we always want to fight back and always want to give them a tough time. I remember this season they've already lost 2 times to Newcastle, one in the Carling Cup and one in the Premier League. So it's a good thing for them that they're actually getting the results, because since the game against Crystal Palace, they needed to show their fans a performance to see. And then I think although on Sunday against Arsenal they lost, but I'm sure, or let me say I'm a little bit sure that a lot of Man United fans will be pleased with the kind of performance Manchester United put, just that the result was not there. So to get the result yesterday was just a crown of what they did on Sunday, and the fact that they had to bounce back from the disappointing defeat they had against Crystal Palace. And so that's the way to go about it. If they are trying to salvage anything from this season in the Premier League, they have just one game left. They just have to win the game to make their fans have a little bit of faith in them.
And apart from the faith and all that, they're also targeting Europe. They are in the running to make sure that they make it to Europe.
Yeah, the reason I didn't talk about that is because it's not in their hands. It's in Tottenham's hands. It's in Chelsea's hands. In fact, Newcastle have more chances, I think, than Manchester United. I think they are on the same points, right? Yeah. But Newcastle with a better goal difference.
But let's see what happens on the final day. If they win,
if Newcastle also wins on the final day, the Man U has nothing to say, because their goal difference. Talking of goal difference, they are not in battle with any of the teams ahead of them. But when it comes to maybe them dropping points and maybe others dropping points for them to gain more points, then that's the issue. But will they That is where the issue is. So it's not in their hands. They just have to hope on other people's failure to be able to capitalize. But if other people succeed in their last game, if they win their last games, then Manchester United have no say in this matter. Just like Arsenal too on the final day, like they have been brilliant, but it is not in their hands to decide. It is all in Manchester City's hands. So that is how it is. So unfortunately for them, it is not their decision to make.
But for them, they can still actually qualify for Europe. But that will be a very tall order in case if they are able to beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final.
Okay, that's another route.
That will be played on the 25th of this month. So if they can actually achieve that, they can still make it to Europe.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Okay, let's quickly touch on the game that we saw between Chelsea and Brighton. Chelsea won at home against Brighton. And of course, it was they won away. They were away at Brighton,
yes.
And they were able to secure a 2-1 win against Brighton. And eventually that took them to 6th on the log. Yeah, I think they are now 6th on the log. And I think like I said, was it yesterday or a few days ago that Chelsea is kind of trying to end their season on the high,
which they can. Just that it's not in their hands also to make the 5th position in code. But they might be guaranteed the Europa League spot already. But at least they are guaranteed a place in Europe. Yes, they are guaranteed a place in Europe. Just that they might want to go higher than where they are, just to salvage a better season for themselves. So it's a good thing, and then it's a good performance actually to actually go away to Brighton and win. Brighton have actually lost only 3 games before playing Chelsea yesterday at home, and then losing against Chelsea at home shows that Chelsea are actually giving a good account of themselves in the last 3 or 4 games. I think since the defeat to Arsenal, Chelsea have been winning their games, which is a good response to that heavy defeat they suffered, and a good way to kind of give a good hope for next season. So they have to end the season well, give a better performance, just like Liverpool last season. It makes me remember Liverpool last season when Liverpool had the shambolic season, but when it came to the latter end of the stage of the season, they were giving good performances that they carried on into this season already. So I think that should give their fans hope for next season, that now that they are showing a better performance, a little bit of cohesion, they are working together as a team, they are being proven hard to beat, and they are scoring, creating chances and taking them. So it is a bit of positive to take into next season. So
let me ask you this question: do you believe that Poch deserves another season?
Yeah, I do, because already the team was in a shambolic state before he joined, and then it was not in total control of how he wanted the team to be in terms of transfers and whoever. Because I remember when Kopama was bought, he lamented that he didn't actually decide to buy the player. He just met the player, like he just found out that the team has already bought him. But fortunately for him, he was very instrumental into the kind of season they are having. I mean, the positive side of it.
I understand the work that Kopama
in the coaching aspect. Yeah, he has had his ups and downs, but we can't rule out the fact that this is a completely new team. The only set of players that are available from the last.
So actually, because of our time, to make it briefer, you believe that
I believe we should be given
at
least another season.
Okay, let's talk about the Italian Cup that we saw yesterday. Juventus were able to win their 15th Italian Cup title yesterday with a slender win over Atalanta. They won 1-0. And unfortunately for our Nigerian brother Ademola Lookman, he has lost the cup with Atalanta to Juventus, and that's a great achievement for Juventus.
I actually expected that to happen, but I expected Atalanta to give up a fight, which it did. They actually give Juve a fight, but obviously the class we always show, the levels we always show, and that is, I think, what Allegri had over Atalanta. I've forgotten their manager's name. I had over him, and then they were able to get over the line, which was all you needed in a final. Just get over the line. Nobody cared how many goals. Nobody cared if it was by a penalty shootout. What matters is
the job has been done.
Yeah, to get the job done, and Juve did well in getting the job done. So
okay, this not so a good story that I mentioned when we started. Osimhen is out injured. He did train yesterday with Napoli, and he's going to be missing their game on Friday against Fiorentina, and it's doubtful for our World Cup qualifiers against South Africa on June 7th.
That is a very unfortunate situation, but he's been coming because he's been overworked this season. He's been overworked. He's been trying to single-handedly drag the whole team, who are in quotes pulling him back. So he's putting all his efforts. If you watch Osimhen play, you see how he puts his whole body into tackles, not just tackles, how he puts his whole body into trying to get the ball in back of the net. So I knew it was coming actually. I've seen it ahead. Well, the only thing is we can only pray that it doesn't get too long. It doesn't stay out too long, so that he can quickly recover. But he's been coming. They've overworked him.
Okay, but the good one is that Victor Boniface has won the Bundesliga Rookie of the Season award.
Well deserved.
Despite the fact that he was out injured for about 3 months.
Before he got injured, he's been winning the Bundesliga Rookie Player of the Month.
I think he won it 4 times.
4 straight times.
Yes, and
that was before he got injured.
And he has actually praised his fans, particularly Nigerian fans, for him landing that particular award.
Yeah, he knows the level of support we give to our own outside, and particularly him and Victor Osimhen, and the ones we've been hyping for, the recent weeks, recent months. So he knows, and he should not take that lightly. So and I'm very happy for him.
Yes, he gave that credit to fans, particularly Nigerian fans, and of course, talking about the Girona story that I mentioned. UEFA has told them the owners of Manchester City Group that they have they will either reduce their stake at Girona. They have about 47% stake at Girona, or Girona will risk not coming to the UEFA Champions League because it's once you have more than 30%, you have a decisive power in a particular club.
So it's more or less you are the owner
of the club, and they are having like 47% ownership of Girona.
So I think UEFA has tried to help them enough by telling them to actually reduce their reduce their stake in the company, or also maybe decide which of the teams is going to, because it's not UEFA shouldn't be giving them that chance of go and decide who is going to go for the Champions League next season, or telling them to reduce the stake. So I think UEFA has tried to help them enough, so they should know what to do from there.
Yeah, Tolu has been telling me that our time is up. It's actually true. We have to wrap it up. David and Andy Murray, as we wrap it up, let's wrap up with this tennis story that Andy Murray has progressed to the second round of an ATP Challenger event in Bordeaux after opponent Kieran Jacquet retired at the start of the second set. So that's a great one for him. He also just returned from injury, and is through to the next round of that particular competition. So on that note, we call it a wrap on the program this morning. Smart Sports. My name is Hanus Latif. David, thanks for being part of the
Thank
program.
You for having me.
As always. Okay, I think it would be unfair for us not to check the comments we had from Facebook. Tolu, just quickly bear with us. I almost forgot. Let's check out this comment and let's see what this person has actually written for us on our Facebook page. Okay, let me see, Tolu. The person said, good morning, up Liverpool. I think that's just what the person sent, and the person is Ajibade Tiamiyu. Thank you, Ajibade Tiamiyu, for sending in that message. So enjoy the rest of your day.